So to present our Leslie Nichols International Health and Safety Award this year, I'd like to invite up Garrett Brown to tell us a little bit about the award recipient.
So I know we have a full program today, so I'll be brief, but I just wanted to say a couple of things about Omana. You can read, of course, her biography in the program there. And I've had the pleasure of working with her for about 15 years, which is okay because she started doing this when she was about 6, so she's barely 21 at this point. And she's really done a remarkable amount of work in Asia, which is laid out there. But there's a couple of things I wanted to say, is that she's been really a key person in a key organization. The Asia Monitor Resource Center in Hong Kong has been really basically the mothership of all the OHS efforts on a grassroots level throughout Asia. And for the last 16 years, Omana has played really a key role in that. Two things in particular, one of which is that the International Ban Asbestos Network everybody's familiar with, over the last decade or so, it now has very strong affiliates in Asia. So you have the Asia ABAN, the Asia Ban Asbestos Network, which includes new affiliates that Omana was instrumental in putting together in India, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. The second thing that she's done a terrific job on is that there's an organization called the Asia Network for the Rights of Occupational and Environmental Victims, or ANROEV. And it's basically an international COSH group. I mean, if anybody's familiar with the NCOSH groups here, this is the NCOSH except on an international level in Asia. And just like the NCOSH groups here, we have some that are sort of the Cadillac programs in New York with a lot of money, and others that are really struggling to keep their work together in places like Texas. Well, a similar thing is true in Asia, so it's very important that the support of AMRC for this network has been for the last 15 years, and they now have 17 different countries represented in their annual meetings, 7 of which Omana has organized in the last 9 years. So you can tell she's been very busy at that. She's a very capable person, a very respectful collaborator, and has got a great sense of humor, which I think are 3 characteristics all of us could to learn from. The last thing I want to say is that I learned how brave she was about 10 years ago. We were both in a conference in Cambodia. And so afterwards we went to Angkor Wat, and outside the hotel where we were staying, they had this little outdoor swimming pool kind of thing you see in the United States, about 4 feet high. And they built things around it, and where people were putting their feet in it. And the reason was because there was flesh-eating fish in this little pool that would give you a pedicure by eating all the dead skin on your fish, on your feet. So, as you might imagine, there were some people in our group that were not so wild about putting their feet into flesh-eating fish bowls. But Omana was not one of them. She put herself right in there without hesitation, but then jumped out almost immediately because she was laughing so hard she thought it was too ticklish to keep her foot. So she's one tough cookie, and I hope you will join me in honoring Omana George.
Thank you, Gareth. I'm really humbled to be even considered for a recognition of this nature, because I think that the work I do is really a reflection of the grassroots organizations we're working with across in Asia, whether they are workers' rights organizations, women's rights groups, victims' rights organizations, trade unions. And the simple goal of everything we are trying to do is to make workplaces safe, to prevent people from being exposed to hazards and carcinogens, and to just have a safe and healthy work and life. And as Gareth was saying, we are a large group of organizations in Asia who are working on various issues. People who are working on electronics, on asbestos, on silicosis, organizing victims' rights groups, and bringing people together. That's what my organization has been trying to do, and I have been doing for these past more than a decade. We have been trying to get people together with similar energies form national networks in different countries like we have done in China and in India, bring people together on different issues we are working on. For example, Leslie Nichols, I have actually emailed her. When we were talking just now, I remembered that we did a training in Asia for building the skills of medical practitioners on occupational lung diseases, because one of the biggest problems we have in Asia is we don't know how many people are sick and we don't know how many people are dying because of hazards at work. And this is because our governments don't report them, the statistics is non-existent, there's too much corruption, our laws are being diluted on a regular basis, civil society organizations are being targeted. So we were looking at ways to address this, and one main way we could address this problem was to build more medical practitioners on the ground, in the grassroots, all over Asia, to be able to diagnose occupational lung diseases. And that's when we got in touch with Leslie Nichols, I remember now, and we had this communication about putting together a program and a curriculum, and we ran this program in a WHO collaborating center in Penang, Malaysia. And it was wonderful. The whole thing just came back to me now when you were talking about her. So we have been doing what we've been doing in terms of recognition, diagnosis, compensation, organizing, building victims' rights groups, as we've done in Bangladesh, following Rana Plaza and Tazreen, to make people, workers, become agents of change so they can represent themselves. We create the platform, we bring the right people together, and AMRC has been doing this for decades now. And this is what we will continue to do as long as this fight is, it's an unending fight, because if you just look at official statistics, it says there's about 1.3 million people dying in Asia because of work. We know that's not true. You look at the numbers in China and India, they're close to insignificant. It could be 6 million, it could be 7 million, we don't know. So this is what we have been trying to do, and we will continue fighting. And I wanted to thank you all for giving me this opportunity. And in addition to this work we are doing in Asia, we also think it's really important to bring struggles from other parts of the world, whether it's the US, whether it's the European Union, on issues like asbestos, on electronics, to bring the struggles so that the same mistakes and cycles are not repeated. So we've been bringing people from the US who've been working in Silicon Valley on electronics, to countries like Vietnam, to countries like Indonesia, connecting, building activism, and making connections with activists, doctors, lawyers, so that we can push forward our occupational health and safety rights and the fight in Asia further. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.